Hey everybody, welcome to JoJo's Kitchen. Today we got a special recipe for you guys, Borracho tacos. We're gonna learn how to make it. It's pretty easy and really delicious. All right, I wanna thank everyone for being with us today, but I gotta ask you a favor. All right, I need you to go down there and hit subscribe, hit the like button, and go ahead and share this with your friends. Now let's get ready to cook some Borracho tacos. And for these Borracho tacos, we're gonna be using flank steak today. You can find this at any local butcher. And for the marinade for that, we're gonna have some light beer, soy sauce, and some of these ingredients right here. We have salt, garlic powder, pepper, and dried cilantro. Before we start anything with food, I got 2 pro tips for you guys. Whenever you're using a cutting board, you're gonna wanna have a small piece of paper towel that's moist underneath the board, and that gives you grip to your board so that when you're cutting, it's not sliding around everywhere, but it's firm in place. Pro tip number 2, you always wanna work with a sharp knife. The majority of accidents in kitchens don't happen because the knife is too sharp, but because it's too dull. Now let's get into the meat. We're working with a piece of flank steak today, and with a piece this thick, you want to butterfly it. So to do that, you're gonna grab your knife, get a grip on your meat, and go slightly down, and then roll your knife as you're making motions with your knife like this. It opens up the meat, makes it thinner and easier to cook like that. Now that we've butterflied our meat, we're gonna prepare our marinade so we can get the good flavors in it. Now that we have our meat butterflied, we're gonna get into the marinade, okay? Now, it doesn't matter how much you put in here, just the ratios have to be good. So we're gonna start with a base of soy sauce, and it's gonna be a 2-to-1 ratio soy sauce to light beer. So for every 2 parts soy sauce, you want 1 part light beer to both thin it out because the soy sauce is pretty strong and to add a little bit of flavor. The dry seasonings for this marinade are gonna be the garlic powder, a little bit of salt, and the black pepper. We're gonna go ahead and brush those in. And again, this is to taste, eyeballing it, tasting the marinade as you go because everyone's tastes are different, but these are the basic starts of this marinade. Now once you add everything together, you're gonna mix it up and it's gonna fizz up a little bit because of that beer, but that's perfectly fine. It's gonna get those oils inside of those herbs moving and going, and we're gonna get ready to bag all of this up and let it rest for at least 30 minutes in the refrigerator, 2 hours at most. Now the most important thing to remember when marinating meat is you want full contact. So I do suggest a Ziploc bag. You pour your marinade over your meat, and afterwards you press the air out, close your bag, and massage it a bit to get that marinade flowing in that meat. After this, we're gonna refrigerate it for a while and move on with our recipe. Now while our meat marinates, we're gonna get some borracho elote going here. So come on in close, I'm gonna show you how to do this side dish for the tacos. To go with these borracho elotes, we have a very simple sauce for putting over it while they griddle. We have dried cilantro, black pepper, sea salt, garlic powder, and chile ancho powder. If you don't like it spicy, this can be substituted with paprika, some melted butter, and some light beer. So we're gonna grab our dry ingredients and add them to the already melted butter. You have your dried cilantro, black pepper, sea salt, dried garlic, and your chile ancho powder or paprika if you're sensible to hot stuff. To that, we're gonna add just a splash of the light beer and combined. All right guys, now that our corn is cut and portioned out and our dipping butter is set, we're gonna go over here to the pan and get these started while our meat marinates. All right guys, if you want something a little extra to go with your tacos borrachos, we got some green spring onions here, and all we're gonna do to prepare these is cut the very tips off and wash these thoroughly. All right, rinse these and don't be afraid to rub them and get in there. You're not gonna damage them. And just make sure they're really cleaned out and lightly dry them. All right, now all we're gonna do is get a pat of our butter, put that into a nice hot pan, let that melt, and as it melts, you throw in a couple of these and let them brown very well. All right guys, 30 minutes has passed and we're ready to look at our beef. All right, here we go. Now that we're moving over to the stove, you wanna have all of your ingredients set out and ready for action, because once this starts going, we're not gonna stop. All right, so you're gonna get a medium skillet on a medium flame, about 5 if it goes to 10. All right, and you're gonna get your bottle of oil. It could be any type of oil you prefer, just not something that burns very easily. Add just a little bit to the pan, distribute it, and grab your first piece of meat and lay it down. As you put your meat into the pan, you're gonna leave it on the side you put it on. You're not gonna flip it. You'll know when to flip it when the cookedness of the meat starts crawling up and you start seeing that definitive line crawl up the meat. When it's about halfway, you're ready to flip. Alright, we just flipped our meat, and this is the color you want to see, that nice caramelized edge and even color throughout. I like it just like this. Prepare the elotes borrachos. What we're going to do is going to have our pan again on medium heat. We're going to get a little bit of that butter seasoning that we prepared, and you're going to lightly oil these with that butter. And once they have a little bit of that on there to get it started, we're going to do the side that we coated first down on the pan. And you want to hear that noise, because what that's going to do is going to sear the outside of the corn, giving a little crunch and texture, and the inside is going to be nice, moist, and juicy. As it goes, just keep on brushing a little bit at a time that butter. Now that our meat is fully cooked, we're going to put our tacos together, and we're going to start by slicing our beef. Now you see the grain on this meat runs long ways like this, so we want to try to cut against it and add an angle just like this. Just slide your knife. A sharp knife works best for this always, because you don't have a lot of resistance and it does all the work for you. Alright, now once we have that sliced, we're going to grab our tortilla, we're going to put our meat on there. Alright, we're going to get some salsa going in it. That's another video, by the way, so stay tuned for that recipe. And a little bit of lemon. And that's how I like mine. Alright guys, I want to thank you for watching this video for me. And if you do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, the like button, and share this video with everybody you know. You've been cooking with JoJo, and let's take a bite.